Hi, thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show. I am Patricia. Please press subscribe, subscribe, and share. Share this video with someone you like. On the last video, I was telling you about how to transmute your karmas. And I mentioned on there about entities. Excuse me. I want to dab a little bit more into that because I want to explain something to you because I've went through this, so I want you to understand. This is real, people. It is not a play thing that happens, sometimes it don't. I've read back in history, um, ascended masters or this ascended masters now or masters now, that they all went through this, where some type of intruding spirits came and tried to block them from completing their spiritual journey, so they would not be able to return or become one with God, or return, look or find that power within them. I'll put it like that, to find that power within them so they can transmute from the darkness to the light. I had to learn this by trial and error because I didn't know. I'm clairaudient, so I can hear things that the normal person can't hear. And I've been able to do that all my life. All my life. I've been able to, when I was little, I could hear voices or get inner information that's coming basically from the spirit world, which is like deep, deep, deep inside of you that normal people can't hear, okay? So since I was younger, when they tell me something, I know it's right. Or when I get the knowledge from them, I know that it's correct. It's never led me wrong. But when I went through this with these spirits, I had never heard of anything like this. So I didn't even know what the hell was going on. It was like, I couldn't tell if it was one, two, three, or whatever spirits that were trying to keep me from communicating with God. When I say that, they were trying to put something above my head or trying to cut off what you call your audio so that God can't hear you. So in the beginning, this lady had told me, it had already happened to me, and so this lady was telling me about it, but I was experiencing it when she was telling me about it. So I just didn't get it. You know what I mean? And I would just like, okay, are they really cutting me off from God? Maybe God can't hear me. But then I started getting, messages from the spirit world, and they would tell me what to do. They would even go so much as explain to me why I was going through what I was going through and about what was happening to me and what I could do to go through it, because it was some lessons and stuff that I needed to learn. And so it wouldn't be released until these karmas were complete. Oh, excuse me. And then at that time, they said, they would just, all they have to do is just shine this light, and that's it. They could shine the light on me, which I'm going to say, like, so you can understand it, which will, like, give me these superpowers, and I will be able to come out myself, or they would just shine the light into my world. But I had to go through this. So they would always tell me they can't really cut off your audio because God and you are one and the same. You understand what I'm saying? So how can you cut off something that you are? You're going to cut off my hearing from me? You know what I'm saying? So, but I still didn't fully understand it. But everything they told me, it was true. So, for example, if I was doing a specific affirmation and I wasn't sure if it was working, they would get me a message saying to me, you'll be able to see in so many days that this affirmation you're saying is working, because they can't there's no such thing as cutting you off, cutting your audio off from your God self, you are the God self. You understand what I'm saying? So there was a part, like I said, I really believed them. They had never led me wrong in my life, but I think because there was a part of me that was like, I guess they know what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? I never experienced this. I guess they right. So then they would lead me to passages or messages that maybe some other spiritual person had wrote. It was always old literature, nothing that was writing in our day and time. Always something that was written back in the 1800s where they were teaching about spirituality. And boom, there it was. You know, when you have entities, that's the first thing they'll try to do is cut off your audio. But just keep doing what you're doing because there's no such thing. Same thing, right? But at one point, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Part of me believed, what I was reading, believed my spiritual guidance, but another part I just didn't know because what was happening, I'm looking to be set totally free. If these affirmations are working, why am I not be setting totally free? So maybe God can hear me. You see what I mean? They would say, you're not going to be set totally free because your karma is not balanced. And so what you're doing is working, but what you think you're doing it for is not. It's really something else. So in other words, if you're doing this to remove these entities, that's not going to work, period, because it's not time for you to move them. There's lessons you need to learn. But if you're moving them, if you're saying these affirmations to just like see, you want to know if it's work. Yes, it's working, but not the way you want it to work. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're doing an affirmation and you're doing it to remove something, so it might be moving whatever the issue is, but it's not going to move the thing because it's not time for that. But your affirmations are still working. So in other words, if you're doing an affirmation on, let me think. I am a powerful being. Let's say you're doing that. So if I did affirmation on there, I'm a powerful being and I'm free, what that truly meant would be revealed to me. So instead of me being set free, because it wasn't time to be set free, the knowledge of what that meant would come to me. So we hear all the time that we're a powerful being, but why are we a powerful being? How are we a powerful being? That knowledge would be revealed to me. So it's like I could just tell you up right away why you are powerful. Some of these teachers will go on and talk about how powerful we are, but they can't tell you why. I can tell you why. You understand? Because they were working. It was teaching me. So it was working. I began to see that eventually. It took a while, but I began to see that because so much I was growing. I was growing so much spiritually until when I would talk to maybe another spiritual person who was coming maybe to help me or to move it or something, they would say, well, I don't know if this is for good or bad because you're really growing. Well, I was growing because what I was doing was working. You understand? So the knowledge was coming to me or the growth was still coming to me. But it wasn't setting me free because I wasn't time for that. Okay. So then they begin, when I say they, I mean these entities, begin to cut off what I call cut off the audio. So then I had to understand, well, what are they? Okay, so the spirits of God is telling me there's no such thing as that because you are that. They're trying to disconnect you from yourself. And that just cannot be done. And then they would explain to me, but there was always a little doubt. And then one time, I didn't even know this was possible. One time, let me see how I can describe this, because some things is hard to describe. The energy that is around me, they had made it so tight till I literally couldn't breathe. And I literally thought I was going to die. You know how you can't get breath? You know what I mean? So it wasn't like they were pulling like my heart closed, but they were in the back of me or the side of me and pulling that energy so tight. But it was still cutting off my breath. And I still thought, oh my God, I'm going to die because I couldn't get the air. And one night I went to sleep and the Spirit said to me, because I had already been asking to help me. So they came to me in the forum to tell me. Then they said to me, they explained to me why, again for the upteenth time, explained to me why they cannot disconnect your audio. There's just no such thing. So they explained that to me deeper and deeper. More, so I could really get it. I could really understand what they were saying. And then they said to me, which I had knew what I'm getting ready to say, but I don't think I had never tried it. I'm the type of person that I'm so used to doing affirmations. So if I want money, it's like I have to say wealth. You know what I mean? I can't do it any other way because to me it's like it's not working. If I don't say it, it's like it's not working. The entities were trying to stop me from, they were trying to, if you're going to say it, we're going to cut it off so it can't be heard. So at one point when my breath was, I couldn't breathe, I thought, well, maybe they're doing that because I can't breathe. But then my beloved brothers of the light came. And they said to me, you don't have much, you don't have much more to go through, okay? Because your karmas are almost at 51%. Then they explained to me, you don't have to open your mouth and say anything because the universe don't even work like that. You can say, Father God, give me X, Y, and Z. It doesn't even hear you. Now, I had been told that years prior. And I was like, I heard it. You know how you hear something but didn't fully understand it. Over the years, I began to understand it because that's saying, you're really saying to me, when we pray to God, God can't hear you. So I really needed more explanation for that. And they gave me the whole explanation to that. Something that had been revealed to me years before, which is true. This is going to be a shocker for some of you. Some of you may know this, but the majority of you do not. When you're praying a prayer to God, God doesn't even hear you. So you verbally speaking to God, it's not doing one thing. Not one thing. The way God picks up things is through a whole different process or a whole different method, which I just had put it on this other tape. And I don't really want to repeat that again right now. So I'm going to make a whole nother tape to explain this to you. Then I started remembering what I had been taught years before, that God can't hear you. So you could pray all day long, but that's not how God communicates with you. God don't communicate with you from your prayer. Oh, this is fixing to finish. So I'm going to have to make this on this is going to be part 1. Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show.